all of my loved ones, and welcome to another episode of From My Heart to Yours. Um, we have been away from this series for a very, very long time, and I want to say welcome back. And anybody who has missed any of this series, I apologize because life gets in the way sometimes, unfortunately. But I most definitely wanted to come on live and to do another From My Heart to Yours. And today we're going to be talking about giving ourselves that permission to heal. And I don't know about everybody else. I can only speak for myself, my personal situation, and all of those things that I have to I feel some type of way about letting myself let things go and not feeling envious or any of those things of, you know, holding myself back because we do. We get in the way of our own winning, we get in the way of blocking ourselves from peace and happiness. And it gets me choked up sometimes because we could do so many things if we would just allow ourselves that permission to heal. And it is a very traumatic thing. Many traumatic things happen to us in our lives that cause us to feel upset, to feel saddened, to feel disrespected. So that is something that I have to say. Whatever it is that you may have gone through in your life, we each can give ourselves the permission to stop harboring resentment, stop being angry, and just those two things, they are major things. I know that I have held my own self back because I wanted to be upset, and many of us were very justified in being upset about things that people have done that has broken our heart. People who have backstabbed us or abandoned us and not was not there for us when we needed them at that moment. So this series of Hi Tessa, this series of From My Heart to Yours is very important for me because this channel is all about trauma healing and having those very important conversations. So I wanted to say that to everybody. We each have to give ourselves the permission to heal from whatever hurt us, whether it was your childhood trauma, or it was an ex, it was a friend, or even ourselves, because we can be our own worst critic and our own worst enemies, right? We have to know that about ourselves. We can be our own worst critic and we can allow fear and anger. Hi Gigi Crown, how are you doing? We can we can hurt ourselves by the expectations or feeling like we're not good enough or we don't do things like other people. And that is why having these conversations are so important and essential. We have to stop. We have to stop comparing ourselves and we have to stop being in competition with other people and looking at our own self and having a high amount of self esteem and saying, this is me and I love her or I love him and I don't have to be anybody other than myself. And that does so much for us, giving ourselves that permission to say, I'm good how I am for what I am, and I'm not my past. So, this conversation about giving yourself the permission to heal is a major one. There's so many adults worldwide who are holding on to anger, resentment, feelings of worthlessness because of what your maybe a parent a sibling, a relative, an ex, a friend, people on social media, people in the workplace. When people do things that really hurts us, we should not allow ourselves to stay stuck in that pain, to stay stuck for the rest of our life. Yes, when people do things to us, yes, it does hurt us. And yes, we should learn a lesson and grow from it, but we have to leave those things there so that we can be our happiest and our best self. And that is why the From My Heart to Your series started. I think it was about a year and a half ago. I was going to start this off. I had the best intentions of starting off this From My Heart to Your series and making it very aesthetic. Having outfits and going for a hot drink like coffee or tea, um, or something like that, and make it very these beautiful videos and something like that. But at the end of the day, I feel like what is the most important thing is having this conversation and to say to somebody who needs to hear it that whoever hurt you, if you feel some type of way about it, you have to give yourself the permission to heal it. Yes, initially, anybody who gets hurt, not supported, backstabbed, used, abused, manipulated, something that affected your heart. Yeah, you're going to be angry, but will you let yourself stay in that anger, or will you give yourself the permission to let it go? And that is where I'm in that space right now. That's where I'm vibrating at the moment. Not letting my past define my present, and don't get me wrong, I have had those times where I stayed mad for many months and many years. But this series is not only to help myself, but to help anybody who is listening to this live stream or on the replay watching this video, for you to feel like, you know what? There's this and this that I've been holding on for a long time, and I don't know how to let it go, because that's where it started with me. I didn't know how to let go, because especially if it has been the pain from being abused, if that has happened to you in any form, verbal, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, sexual, any form of abuse is not right. um we should, none of us should ever have to go through that, but it happens every day. And I want to say that I'm so sorry to anybody that has been taken advantage of, that has been not supported, has not, people, your love was taken for granted, or you were not treated the way that every single human being deserves to be treated. I'm so sorry to hear that. But today we're adults, right? You may not have been able to protect yourself from what happened to you as a child, but as an adult, we have to do some of that trauma healing. And it's things that we have to do as an adult, going into our inner child and giving ourselves that permission to say, this and this happened to me, and I give myself the permission to stop harboring animosity, stop letting the anger control me, not letting fear or doubt control me anymore, because we have that power. And when we do not forgive other people, and I'm going to pause right there, because forgiveness is not only for them, forgiveness is also for you. And when I gave myself that permission to honestly take a deep dive and do some of that inner work and think about what has held me back, what has made me feel less than, or made me feel that I was incapable in some type of way because of the brokenness that I felt, how crushed I felt inside. And that is the thing that we have to have these conversations, not just with any and everybody, but in a safe space. And here on this channel, we have those conversations and safe conversations. There's no judgment, there's no personal attack, there's none of that. We leave all of that to the side and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And maybe in your upbringing, maybe the people that have been around, your heart was not safe with them. Maybe you tried to have conversations about things, but they didn't want to communicate with you. They didn't want to listen. They didn't make you feel seen and heard. So, of course, the walls are going to go up and you will shut down because that's what happened for me when I was trying my best to think with a healthy mindset and to heal my heart and to give myself the permission to live my best life. You can't get to your best life if you still have things on your head, on your heart, that is consuming you with rage, anger, fear, and so many other things. If it makes you feel something is wrong, then this conversation is for you. And I just request that you take out a notebook and you write some things, jot some things down about the things that hurt you. And don't be afraid. I never thought that just writing things down would bring a flood of emotions inside of me. And I am honestly not an emotional person in front of other people. It's only in safe places where I allow myself to let down those walls, those barriers, and allow myself to heal and to feel honest. Okay, this is exactly what happened, and we have to do that in order to trauma heal, in order for it to go from a trauma to us becoming victorious. And we can empower ourselves that way if we want to. See, because like many of you, some of those things that happened to me in my past, they were secrets. I was told to be quiet and not talk about it. And you don't talk about family problems. We hold those secrets inside of us. And that's not good because it affects us in many ways. It affects us physically, it affects us mentally, and it blocks us off from having happy, healthy, meaningful relationships with other people because we have trust issues. So, this conversation and talking about this, um, hey Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome, happy Sunday. And having these type of conversations, I feel like it's so important to have them because like I was just talking about, for such a long time I felt scared to let myself be vulnerable and to talk about the things that I have been through because you get so used to keeping things hidden and to make yourself feel like I must be strong. Oh, I'm doing great. Serious. How about yourself? I had been accustomed to being so strong, always putting on that strong face, always walking around almost robotic because you have to be that way in this life because this world will chew you up and spit you out if you show your hard times, if you show some of the dark sides of you that you can't share with everybody because everybody can't be trusted. But this conversation about giving yourself the permission to heal, it is so important for me to have because I finally have got to the space in my life after many, many years. I started my healing journey back in 2016, and I finally felt some of the light. I feel like my power has come back after, I want to say, how long has that been? 8 or 9 years. Finally, I feel like I've unpacked. I've worked on things little by little. And that's one of the things that I want to say about giving yourself the permission to heal is that it's not going to happen overnight. Just like things happen to you over the years from your childhood to your preteen to your teen to your 20s and moving further, so much things happen to us, but we all have to face things. And if we don't face them, we will continue to be angry. We will continue to always ask ourselves, why can't I have good friends? Why can't I have a healthy, meaningful relationship that will last romantically? Because if you don't heal and fix yourself, other people don't want to be around you. Let's be real and honest, everybody. Nobody wants to be around somebody who they feel that they have to walk on eggshells with, you know? That's not a good thing. We don't want to be that sort of person, just like we don't want a person who is very uncanny, a person who is, not balanced. You never know what you're going to get when you're around them. So, just like we would not want to receive that from other people, we also have to think, who am I as a woman, or who am I as a man? Am I a person that's easy to get along with? How do I treat people in relationships? You know, and that was some of the reasons why I went through a trauma healing time and going to therapy and really unpacking my past and talking about things that happened to me, the good, the bad, the ugly, the evil, and why I know that I needed to have a trauma healing and give myself the permission to heal from it is because I knew that I was affecting my future. And we do. Ignoring it is not going to help you. Lying to yourself is not going to help you. Being angry for what other people did to you, that's not going to help you either. How we get healed is by facing it. And that is the hardest thing, to think about that pain, that rejection, that that it's just an overwhelming feeling. It's a flood of emotions when you think about some of the things that people have done to you from the past, and um, and you don't want to. I honestly can say I didn't want to free myself from from that. I wanted to stay angry with them because I felt like holding grudges, keeping my anger inside was was the best thing that I could do. I thought that was the best thing I could do because I thought when I forgave other people, I thought I was justifying it. I was saying what they did was right. But I learned a very important lesson during my healing journey is that when I free them, I free me. My blood pressure started going down. Even my weight became more balanced. I noticed I wasn't having headaches like I used to have. I had a better quality of sleep. I was able to smile. Healing does so much for you. It gives you peace, and it allows for you to show up in a positive way. And you may not even understand how angry you are. See, I didn't even understand that I was lashing out at other people who have done nothing to me, like snapping at people. Hey, Charlene, how are you doing? Happy Sunday. Welcome in. I know for me, I definitely did not know that some of the things that I had done to other people is because of my unresolved issues. So that was another thing that I didn't want to be a person who brought pain to other people when I was trying to stop, trying to heal myself from the pain that had happened to me. So, all of that is a reason why I came to this space where I am today in trauma healing and freeing myself, giving myself that permission to let go. And I have to say that to everybody, it's not an easy journey. It's not easy to let yourself be free. It's not, because you just thinking about it just makes you angry, like you relive it all over again. But it's the best thing that you can ever do is say, I am no longer going to let whatever it is, and you, of course, state it. I'm not going to let whatever this happened control me any longer. And I have to tell you, I said that with tears, and I said, I want to let this go. And then I did. But only you can know when you want to let go of something. That's, I can say that for sure. You're going to be angry, you're going to be upset, you're going to walk around with a whole attitude, be angry with people of the same gender. Like for me, for some things that happened to me, I would had all of these anger issues towards men, and these men coming into my life, or a coworker, or even when it comes to dating or other things, they had done nothing to me. But because I had unresolved issues with men, guess who's going to get the brunt of my anger? Men. See, and that is one of the reasons why I said I don't want to be a person to inflict pain, and I also don't want to stop myself from being happy. I don't want to stop myself from pain. I want to have meaningful and happy relationships, but I just didn't know how. So that is one of the things that I had to work on. And that's why I said from my heart to yours, no lies, no capping, no, none of that. It straight from my heart. I had to put myself in the position to say, I don't want to carry this around anymore. I want to let this go. I want to be free. I want to be happy. I want to be healed. And I want to talk to you all about some of the things that I did to free myself and give myself the permission to heal. Hey, James, how are you doing? Welcome in. Happy Sunday. Sirius says, I'm glad you are at a better and a healthy place in your life. It took a lot of hard work with determination. Yes, to anybody, it's going to take hard work and determination. Sirius says, when you're able to share your story with all of us, that speaks growth and the will to be more successful at keeping a safe haven for your mental health. Yes, for sure. And it's not only for me, it's for everyone. Every time I talk about giving myself the permission to heal, I have to first talk about that when we don't give ourselves the permission to heal and forgive, we stop our dreams. We stop ourselves from being healthy, mind, body, and spirit. So we really do have to think about those things like, okay, this person did this and this to me, and yeah, I'm angry about it, but I had to learn to take that anger and use it as my elevation, as my passion in life, taking that pain and shifting into your power. It's definitely something that is possible. It may seem like it in the moment, like how can I do that? But I know for sure that I'm doing that right now. I'm taking my pain from the people that have used, abused, disrespected, backstabbed, manipulated, done so many things to me, took my heart for granted, that when I talk about this, I'm turning my pain into my power. Because most people, they take their painful situations and mum's the word. They will never share anything with anybody else, of course, because that's a personal and a private thing. And I don't expect everybody to be like me. But I know for sure that because I've healed and because I'm in a healthy, happy space, that nobody can take anything and dangle over me. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to be free, is I didn't want that pain to consume me any longer. I didn't want to have other people keeping my power. I wanted to be able to be capable of saying that doesn't control me anymore. I'm not just the angry person. I'm not the resentful person. I'm not the person who judges this person and that person. I free myself and I free them because I deserve to be in this moment right here and right now, free, happy, joyful, peaceful, and healthy. And no capping, everybody, my health really took a downward spiral because I was holding so much things in me. It was making me physically sick. Yeah, it really was. On the outside, nobody would be able to tell, working good, have a good job, doing all of the things, having fun. People could say you had the picture perfect life. But inside, behind closed doors where nobody could see, I was angry. I was very sad. I was shattered to my core for so many reasons. And when things happen to you that's traumatic in your family, when things that are traumatic happens to you in a romantic relationship and you expected certain things and those dreams were crushed because that person did not respect you, did not love you back, was not loyal to you, that will do something to you. And you can say all day long about how you're okay and you can pour yourself into work and helping other people. But for the first time in my life, I had to say, when this happened to me, this is how it made me feel. And that does not make me a bad person. It makes me a human being. It makes you human when you have feelings. It makes you human when you hurt. It makes you human when you've been disappointed. And that is the thing. You've been disappointed, but will you allow yourself to stay disappointed? See, that's where I wanted for a separation, not only for me, but also all of my loved ones here. It's the reason for my channel because I want more women, more men to not only be grown, but to be mature. And it does take maturity and it takes courage for you to face your fears and to say, I'm not letting you control me anymore. See, I wanted to go from the angry Marlene to the happy Marlene and the peaceful Marlene and the Marlene who has dreams and goals and has um, healthy relationships. I don't just mean having people in your life because that's the easy part. You can have lots of people, you can know many people, but are they good relationships? Are they healthy? Are those the people that will pour back into you? I don't just mean the people that you just give to and they take from you and take and run over your heart and backstab you. Those people are a dime a dozen. You find them anywhere, right? But I mean making yourself be free so that you can know about boundaries and you can speak up for yourself and you'll protect yourself. It's the you that will say, no, I got to cut you off. I have to block you because I protect and love myself. And I am so happy to be at that space in my life to now I have introduced myself to discernment. And when the energy doesn't feel right now, I know how to say, nope, it's something not right about you, and I don't need to know anymore. See, the old me, the former me, the one that had so many traumatic things happen to me, I would just turn a blind eye or something wouldn't feel right and I would still go through it anyways. But when you trauma heal and you honestly go through the process of what did they do, but also on the other side, what did I allow? And that takes a very courageous, honest, and real woman or man to say, I allowed them to use me. I saw the red flags and I still kept it going. I did not cut them off. Or I didn't listen when I said, I don't think I should do that, but I did it anyways. See, that is also a part of your trauma healing as well. You got to forgive yourself for when you didn't listen to yourself. Okay? I think that's so important. Hey, Nate, how are you doing? Welcome in. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody. I really appreciate you guys. Yes, exactly. Serious. Nate says reading people is a lost art. And it's so important for all of us, and that's why I say from my heart to yours. Um, because I've already, since the beginning of today's podcast, I have been shedding tears because these conversations from my heart to yours is a healing, it's a cleansing and a purification for my soul. I uplift my spirit and I hope that it does something for you all as well. That you don't have to take foolishness, that it's okay to walk away. It's okay to close doors. It's okay to set boundaries. And that, or as a reminder to yourself, that once hurt doesn't mean always hurt. It's giving yourself the permission to heal the brokenness and to stop saying that about yourself. I'm not broken. I'm healed. I'm happy. I'm empowered. That's a big deal. The majority of people in this world are not empowered enough and courageous enough to say, I give myself the permission to be human and I learn, I grow, and I do better for myself because I deserve better. But also realizing that we're humans and we make mistakes and we allow things. And also on the other side of that coin is that people took advantage of me, disrespected me, took my kindness for weakness. But now I'm a different person. I've learned lessons. I've grown into myself. And these are the times when you're trauma healing that you give yourself the permission to say, and I've grown and I've learned so much. I'm so proud of myself. So I want to say that also to all of my loved ones, be proud of yourself. There's many people who are not as strong as you have been. And you may not even think that you're strong, but you are. Every day you wake up and you have the courage to go through another day, another week, another month, another year. So, whatever your trauma is, whatever hurt you, whatever saddened you, made you feel some type of way, today's a new day and we're empowering ourselves. Yeah, we're speaking over our lives. I'm not my past. I'm not what other people said about me. I'm not what other people did to me. There's many of us that have been hurt. Our hearts, our wallets, our trust. It's all been hurt. But it's that thing that hurts you now is what you can use in the future because if you were never hurt, Maybe you wouldn't know how to speak up for yourself. There's always lessons, there's always things that we can glean from our past, from our hurt, and empower ourselves, empower your mind. Now I have the ability to see. hmm I know when I know, yeah, you're lying to me. Yeah, I can't trust you. No, I don't want to be around you. Mm-mm. No, you're not good for me. It's all of those things that you have to give yourself a round of applause, because that's healing. That's maturity. That's personal growth. And it's all about what I love to talk about over here on Love Marlene 411, healing. That I can heal. I don't have to be angry my whole life. I refuse to be sad. I refuse to let the judgments, the projections from other people to be my entire life. See, we give ourselves the permission to be empowered. I'm so happy for all of us that we give ourselves that permission to fight, to reset, and to try over again. And I know that it's not easy because you may go, teeter totter. So you may have you've forgiven it and it bubbles back up to the surface. That's okay. And at that time when it bubbles up to the surface and you are rethinking it, rehashing it in your mind, this is when you have to talk to that little girl or little boy inside of yourself and say, I understand you were hurt. Yeah, you were hurt. You were used. You were taken advantage of. You were disrespected, and that wasn't right. But we're happier now. We're at peace. We love ourselves. You see that shift? That's the empowerment part. That's the empowerment. Let's see what I missed. Some people don't know how to channel through their own thoughts. They will allow others to compromise a different perspective of their thoughts. Yeah. And that's why you have to know yourself. And this is something that you have to do in your quiet time. That's why I say it's so essential for us to carve out moments, even if it's just a few moments a day, for your peace, for your healing, and your prosperity. hmm All important. Yeah, that's right, Nate. Nate says, be wise enough to walk away from toxic energy and be strong. Yeah, yeah. It's, it may not feel like it in the moment when you walk away from somebody who has that toxic energy. It may not feel like it, but guess what? One day you're going to get the strength. In the beginning, you're going to feel deflated, defeated, discouraged, sad, but it's all part of the process. Then you're going to get a little bit of more room, a little bit of it's going to escape just like a balloon. All of that, all that toxicity, the poisonous habits and behaviors, and you'll be able to identify what was said and done to you. And now you can say, you know what? That was then and this is now. And I'm proud of myself. And you keep doing the good things for yourself. That's a part of trauma healing, who you were versus who you are, and then embracing that new you and shifting your attitude towards it and knowing that you did the best that you could in that moment. We have to forgive ourselves and stop saying, I wish I would have, shoulda, woulda, coulda, because that will drive you crazy. That will keep you discouraged and that will keep you in pain. Yes. Thank you, Sirius. Nate says, move away from toxic people, but remember not to treat everyone like they're toxic. hmm I always say that initially, when you meet people after you've been through something, whether it's dating or a friend or in the workplace, however you've been hurt, you have to now make sure that you are keeping both eyes open. You're aware now. You've been through certain situations, but don't let it stop you from having an open heart again. Now you have to learn to really pay attention and you open your eyes and you listen. And when you see that something is maybe that you would have accepted in your past or formerly, now you can say, I'm not going to take that. Nope, I'm not going to allow that. Nope, I deserve better than that. You see, you've just healed. You have just healed from your past. You've healed from what has hurt you. And I'm so proud of every single person that has done that. So proud. Um, Sirius says, Nate, that's so true because that can easily be done. You know, when I know for sure when my most recent hurt from an ex, and I remember going through that full gamut of saying, "Oh, I hate men. I hate them. I hate all of them." And we have to be very careful about not putting everybody in the same box because let's just face it, some people that you are in a relationship was never good for you from the beginning, you know, because while you can um, say whatever that person did, we also have to assume accountability for what we allowed and why did we choose them? Why did we feel that we deserve that? And so on and so forth. Not to feel sad, but to be aware and to learn and grow and to shift things inside of ourselves. You know, I don't have to settle. I'm intelligent. I don't have to be run over or be somebody's puppet. All of those things are important to heal those things so you do not repeat the cycle and choose somebody just like who you had formerly. That's very important as a part of healing is not to just let it go and then to pick somebody just like your ex or somebody just like um, the ones that hurt you, like especially if you have mommy or daddy issues or unresolved issues with siblings or friends. You can put those same, you do those same repeat, choosing of associates with other people in the future unless you heal from the past and what you did and what you allowed, okay? So we have one more point, everybody, and we're going to get out of here. Um, I wanted to say to everybody, we have to give ourselves the permission to be our best and that we're not our pain. You're not your pain, you're not your hurt. You're better, not bitter, because there's a big difference. I know when thinking about initially when it started for me with my healing journey, I was definitely bitter. Bitter, angry, mad, and anybody who was in, in my, right in front of me or around me, they were going to get the heat. But I had to learn to deal with my issues, deal with my trauma. So not only so I couldn't be better when it came to my physical health, but also I wanted to be a better role model. I wanted to be a better example. I didn't just want to be labeled as angry. I didn't want to be labeled as immature or a person who, you keep making the same choices. You're repeating the cycle of being in toxic relationships because ultimately your relationship made you toxic. So you have to make yourself better and improve and work on yourself. And that's not going to be easy, but you can learn how to be your own friend. And I know that trauma healing has taught me how to be a friend to myself and not to wait for other people to give me friendship, that I friend myself first. And that if I feel something, to not dismiss it, because things come to our minds as a like a filter inside of us, to as a sign, as a flag going off. Hey, pay attention to this. It's not for us to say, oh, maybe that's me, because that's what I used to do all the time. Maybe it's me. Maybe I did something to offend them and hurt. Stop blaming yourself for what other people do, and stand up and say, this is a them problem, not a me problem. So, trauma healing is going to be your whole life through. And you have to give yourself the permission to free yourself of it, to not blame anybody but the person who hurt you. And set yourself free, because you deserve to be free. You deserve to grow. You deserve to love your life, because life is meant to be lived. I hope that this conversation, this podcast, brought some peace to somebody. Maybe got you to think about some things maybe that you need to work on in as an aspect of forgiveness, having personal conversations, journaling, maybe going to therapy and talking to somebody. Talk out your problems, because I'm telling you, I promise you that when you have the right therapist, when you learn about joining support groups, and when you have the tools, yes, while we have been traumatized and hurt through some things, we don't keep that hurt mentality. We now say, I was hurt previously, but now I'm victorious. It's about what you speak over your life. And when you heal, you give yourself the permission to show up in this world as such. I'm happy, healed, joyful, knowledgeable, and I'm more than enough. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's conversation. I wish you all healing and personal growth. Okay? Before I get out of here, I see that I got some comments here by my amazing mods. Um, let's see what I missed here. Nate says, facts serious, can't treat everyone the same. Nate says, every day we learn something new. It's all about what we take from the lesson. Yes. Yes, some people need to take those lessons. They need to learn and apply them to their lives. Yes, they do. But each and every woman or man has to do it for themselves. Nobody can't make you happy. A relationship cannot make you happy. A relationship cannot fill your voids. You got to do the work. You have to do the inner work. You have to do the healing. It's all up to us. It's all up to you if you're going to choose to be happy and healed, or angry and hurt. I wish you all peace. This is from my heart to yours. I'm Love Marlene 411, your life coach. Thanks for tuning in, and check out previous From My Heart to Yours. I will make sure I put a playlist with this live stream and other live streams. So make sure you go ahead and check them out. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. We talk about trauma healing and having healthy relationships, in all relationships, from your kids to romantic to friendships to workplace. Because when we have healthy relationships, we also can have a healthy relationship with ourselves, which is so important. And I wish you all love. See you guys on the next one.